Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard and welcome back to RLCraft. So, I've spent a couple days doing a couple different things. First up, I have worked on the base a bit. This is actually the bottom floor. It's a little bit nicer than it was. It's still got a bit of decorating left to do, but like I said, we're not going on to anything super big or super overly fancy within this series since we're meant to be out exploring a bit more. But I did work on this area a little bit and started kind of sprucing things up. So our water source is now here instead of in the floor. This stuff all still needs to be sorted, but we'll get to that. And then down there, I haven't even started working down there yet. Over here, I added a few more furnaces and just kind of spruced these up. And then ores and metals. I think I'm actually going to leave the chest here. So we'll have kind of the smelting floor down here. And then if we head on up, which I really wish I had some kind of railing right here, but I don't really have the space to put a block between it without messing everything up. And I kind of like the spacing here. Actually, there's not really any... Well, yeah, if we head up, the floor up here is done up a little bit. I did move the bed up here, so we do have that there instead of down here now. And if we head outside, this is where I spend a lot of my time building, is I have expanded this out. I have to go farm up more cobble to finish this out, but I did get most of the framework done, and all this little section here kind of built out and everything, just as kind of a rough frame, right? So we do have this stuff in place. So let's actually go up here. There we go. So nothing terribly fancy, but it is coming along bit by bit. And if you couldn't tell, it is now currently winter in our world. So there is that. Also, I did go out and just flew around and basically explored a little bit, and I found a couple villages that are worth us checking out. Let me go sleep before we head out. And also a couple episodes ago, which bear in mind I am recording these, so I just now got the comments from a couple episodes ago. But you guys mentioned that we can do this right here. This is the Baubles HUD config. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, and we can change this. We can make it horizontal, vertical. We can do toggle box, and then we can drag it and move it, or we can just disable it. I'm actually just going to disable it. I don't want it here, to be perfectly honest. Because I know what baubles I have equipped. I don't need to see them on screen. So that's nice to know that there's a button. So thank you guys for that. I actually did not realize that there was a button there for that. And then if we head over, let's see, Quarkzur, I think is one of the, yeah, right over here. This one was pretty cool, okay, because... And this is actually all, take a look here, this is all in the desert. Basically, like, right over here was the roguelike dungeon. You remember there was a desert right there. This is just flying around in this desert area. And I came across this village here, which has this giant dragon on top of the library. And I thought about breaking the bones and getting the skull, but I'm actually just going to leave it, just because it kind of adds to this village. In all honesty. Now, I actually have not explored this village much, at all. I will take that. And I will take... I probably really don't have to pick all these up, but once we start breeding our fire dragons, we will need those, so might as well grab them since they're right there. This would be a good place to come and gather up greenhouse glass, because there's two greenhouses here, it looks like. Now, generally, these libraries... I mean, there's a lot of books, so if I want books, which actually probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and break down a few of these. I mean, I can always come back. Books are pretty plentiful in all actuality, but I'm going to be moving our enchanting setup here soon, and whenever I do, I'm going to disenchant most of the armor and stuff that we got. And that way I can, start combining pieces and stuff like that, which would be great. There's Smite 4. Okay. Yeah, that's plenty of books for right now. Let's go ahead and drop that in there. There are a few chests in here, though. Oh, and I could just gather all these books. Some of these are named. But there is enchanted books in here always. So there's Aqua Affinity, Looting 2, and Feather Falling 4. And then there'll be a button here that we can click, and it will open up this right here. So we've got another Aqua Affinity book. We have a Protection 2, Depth Strider 2, Unbreaking 2, Diamond Boots, The Heroic Shoes of Fire. A couple books in Quills. Do I have any? No, not really. We saw To Drive, and we got a Mending book. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I've heard they're actually really common from these. That's what Deanna was saying on Discord. And then there's also a chest right up here. We've got Efficiency 4, Protection 4, Feather Falling 3. Not bad. Now there's also one other chest over here, but I don't think it ever has anything in it. This one right here. So, what do you have? Tunneling 1. Enchantment can be applied on tools and will make them mine additional blocks next to the one you've mined if they can also be mined by that tool. Okay. That's from Better Survival. So I'm assuming you could probably mine like 3x3s with that, which is pretty nifty. Okay, so let's head over now to... Let me go drop off these books, and then we're going to go check out a couple more libraries that I came across. I think altogether I found about 7 villages between this episode and last episode, and only 3 of those had libraries, though. So the libraries themselves aren't super common, but I have heard they are a really, really good place to get mending books. So what did I... Wait, I just put that one right here. Okay. I want to go ahead and maybe apply this to my helmet. And actually, we still have some gray dragon scales left over. So let me try and reforge this, because right now we've got -1 armor on it. 0.5 armor. I'd like to go for something pretty decent. That's not very good at all. 0.5 luck. Crumbling again. And back to -1 armor. Okay. Okay, well, I guess it's fate that we have -1 armor. Okay, I need 3 levels. Let me pop out... yeah, I'm just going to pop outside. I've got enchanted books, but I don't like taking the levels out of those because you can't take exact amounts. I've got 2 field books at the moment, but I'm kind of saving those for enchanting since they're already at level 30. Okay, so we'll put mending on this. I will say, I mean, this isn't going to be our end-all be-all helmet, but it's not a bad helmet for now, and I don't mind, especially knowing that those libraries will often have mending books. I don't mind using mending books for somewhat more temporary pieces. I think this is the one I want to go to. Seems like they all started with C's, if I recall correctly. Yeah, right over here. Okay, so, like, there's the bookcase that opens up. Boom. This one we've got Protection 2, the Chalcedon of Salvation. Aqua Affinity, that seems like a popular one. Aqua Affinity, Aqua Affinity. What in the world? Depth Strider 2. Awesome. If I need Aqua Affinity books, I'm set. Then we've got Looting 2. We've got another Mending book. Aqua Affinity, Depth Strider 2. Okay, so far we're 2 for 3 on these, on Mending books, basically. Like I said, I had explored the one. It was actually meant to be recorded, but I didn't realize... Ooh, Infinity. That's actually really, really nice. We're going to have to make us a really good bow here soon. Luck of the Sea 3. Luck of the Sea 3. Okay. But there's been some times on and off of late where my icons aren't displaying. They are displaying today, which is great. So sometimes I lose track of when I'm recording and when I'm not. So I always double check it before I do something like really important, but I don't know what's causing it. NVIDIA had an update not too long ago, so maybe that's what it is. Okay, yeah, it's not this place. I'm going to kill these guys, though, even though we're going to be doing some stuff with these guys later this episode. Oh, our helmet's almost repaired. It's almost fully repaired right now. Oh, it's so nice. And especially with education on this sword, you know, that makes a big difference. Let's see. Krikark Deserts. That's it. This is the one that has the other library. But let's see. We've got Fortune 2, Aqua Affinity, Protection 3, Fortune 2, Feather Falling 4. And then we've got Protection 3, Fortune 2, Feather Falling 4, Luck of the Sea 3, Aqua Affinity, Fortune 2. Aqua Affinity is a really popular one. And then we got Lesser Sharpness 4. Upstairs, we have Luck of the Sea 3, Protection 4. I'm going to dump off... actually, I need bones. I don't need leather. Efficiency 4 and Protection 4. Okay, so no Mending book in this one. So that's 2 out of 4 we got Mending books out of. And I will say the first one I looted, I got 3 enchantment books out of the entire thing. Okay, so you can, I guess you can be really unlucky, I suppose. But all the rest of them, we've gotten quite a bit. Plus some enchanted gear and stuff out of them. Let me warp home. And we've got the XP now. Let's go ahead and put Mending on these boots. There we go. So we've got 2 pieces with Mending. Oh, this one's fully repaired. Awesome. What I want to do is let me grab, I think wheat might work. If not, I know carrots will. Well, let's go ahead and make ourselves some fences. Boom. And, oh, I need a gate. I hate whenever it does that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build a pen. And it's going to have to be a fairly large pen, in all honesty. So I'm going to put it back here. And we're going to attach it to the back of this building. So it maybe comes out like that. It doesn't have to be overly huge, but just having that be a decent size is ideal. Because we're not going to keep a really high population, I don't think. I don't know. Depends on how much we use it. I think it's mainly going to be for like, it's going to be like a boss thing. But now we need to go out and we need to find a couple Ariasaurs. And I know I had some nearby. I just have to go find them. Okay, and actually it's enabled so you can pick up sheep in this pack. I just tested it, and sure enough, it works. I already brought one back. I just lured it back with wheat. It was pretty close to the house. But I'm still looking for the Ariasaurs. I'm actually kind of curious if we couldn't pick up an Ariasaur. I'm going to try it whenever I find it. If so, that's going to be insanity. Alright, so we'll just toss him in there. So I've got 2 sheep here, and it's important that we keep them kind of blocked in, kind of separated, because we are going to be dealing with some stuff here soon that eats sheep. So just a heads up. So we're going to keep them kind of pinned up, kind of locked away from some of the more wild things that we're going to be domesticating here shortly. So I'm assuming that we can probably pick up some cows and pigs if sheep are enabled. It's good to know because I've got some nearby cows and pigs. So I'll probably start bringing them over here soon. Okay, I managed to find them. They had just wandered over a bit from where I had left them. And they're kind of easy to miss because they do kind of blend in with all the foliage. So what we're going to do is there's one back there. It looks like a Keppel. Honestly, I'm probably going to have to clear them a path, to be perfectly honest. Because as you can tell, they are very, very tall and they're going to get stuck on like everything. I wonder if this is going to kill one of them. No. Trees cannot fall on them. They stop the tree dead in its tracks. So that's good to know. I should probably cut down this one too. This is going to be a slow process. And actually something worth trying real quick. If I can get up here. They're like, no, you don't get up here. If I was to breed a baby Ariosaur, can I pick... Nah, I can't pick up the baby ones either. Okay. Okay, my house is over in that direction. So this shouldn't be too bad to get them over there. Okay, that actually isn't all that far, to be honest. I mean, I had to chop down a few trees, but it's not terrible. It might be best to have the babies, breed them and get the babies, and then lure the babies over, maybe. Because the babies seem a lot more prone to follow me than the adults do. Okay, we've got ourselves a baby Ariosaur. Awesome. Awesome. They're so big, it's really awkward to try to pin them in anywhere because they're just so large. And you can't move between them, as you notice. Like, you can't shove them, you can't move between them. Hey. We'll be getting to chupacabras soon enough. Oh. There we go. Cowpod. First time I've seen them spawn here. Interesting. Okay, well I want these gone. Okay, so we have a baby Keppel Ariosaur. That's pretty cool. Can you come... Yeah, come over this way. Let's take you. Over to here. Just keep following the carrots. I promise you'll get some. As soon as you're an adult, you can have some more carrots. And I'm just going to build that up. No, come here. You can climb that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I need like Jurassic Park to keep these guys. Because they're just so big. Okay, but we did get a couple of those. And as you saw, you can breed them with carrots. Right? So that's one of the animals off our initial list done. Because if we take another look at the battle burrito, I would like to start making this not as our standard eat all the time meal, but for bosses and things like dungeons with lots of, you know, really dense mobs and stuff like that. And to do this, we're going to need cooked Ariosaur meat, which we've got Ariosaurs. We're also going to need cooked Maca meat, cooked Pinky meat, cooked Aspid meat, and cooked Yeti meat. Now that's not all the creatures that you can keep within lycanites, but it's a few of them. So there are going to be some more additions, some more creatures and stuff that we do keep. And it's worth noting, Ariosaurs you're generally going to find in forests. Any kind of, most any kind of forest, you'll be able to find them. Lots of trees and stuff like that. Maca are more like plains, flatter type areas. We actually have some plains near our base, so those aren't going to be too bad. Pinkies are nether creatures. And I'm actually going to show you a really easy way to farm those. Aspid you're going to find them in swamps, and you have to watch out because they leave like a trail of poison behind them, but they are passive. They just leave poison behind them. And Yetis, we actually saw these in the first episode, and I know where some are in snowy type areas, but they're like the big Yeti looking creatures, you know. All of these are passive initially, except for Pinkies, but Pinkies can be made passive. And our Ariosaurs have grown up now. So let's go ahead and breed these two together. See, I think my pen's only going to hold like 3 adults at best. There we go. There's a visual bug before. Okay. So there we go. We got our baby Ariosaur. Level 3. Alright. Well, that's cool. And actually, these archosaurs that are over here in the woods, I guess I could go ahead and kill them off. And that does give us cooked archosaur meat. That's great. I'm thinking about making maybe a weaker one that's not enchanted. Well, actually, we've got the looting. I should probably use the looting sword, I guess, on these guys. But, I don't know. When we make our new sword, our new ice saber, well, no, that'll be ice, though. I need a fire weapon. I'll probably just use that the great sword that we've got and use that for looting then. But anyways, this cooked archosaur meat, we can use this for the battle burrito, but we can also use it for paleo salads, which are fairly easy to make. This would be more of like a staple food that you could do because it does heal you for a lot. It also increases all the healing that you get, like from regen and stuff. And overall, it's fairly cheap to make. This, a little bit more expensive. Most of the animals for the battle burrito are pretty easy, but the pinkies, since they take live food, it's a little bit more of a process. But we're going to be setting up something to make feeding them and chupacabras a bit easier. So I've just got to get everything laid out and get our chupacabras and stuff. And speaking of chupacabras, that's possibly something that we could go tame right now. So let's go ahead and just whip up a couple of these. And hopefully this is enough. We'll see. And I have to go find some chupacabras. Now they tend to spawn a lot down here. I tend to have them coming up. These guys tend to come up into my house a lot. It's right over there somewhere. They always, you can tell because they sound like something snoring. Okay, there's one. Actually, I think there's two right there. Alright. Oh, he loves us now. To Asgard's chupacabra. Okay, so we've got one. And we're going to tell him to sit for right now. And then I'm going to go see if I can tame this other one. Go ahead and kill that one off. He wants more, wants more, wants more. I don't know why he's not attacking it. There we go. Now he loves us. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and tell him also. Yeah, let's say follow us. And we'll tell this one to follow. Okay, they're steadily making their way over here, it seems like. Because it should teleport them if they get stuck. Should. Okay, well there's one of them. And he's just not really following me all that well. Okay, it's nighttime. 1 second. And the same would be true with the pinky. You know, if you've got the pinky treats, you just feed them a bunch of times till it says that they love you. And then you'll be all set. So maybe once I get him outside, he'll behave. I don't know. Sharpen 2. Okay, and they both came, so that's good. You guys come over here, please. Okay, well I need to go make a gate anyways. Let me go get one of those. I suppose I could use a lead for them. Alright, we'll give this a shot and see. I should be able to hook them and just take them over. Yeah. You too. Both of you. Come along. Now the pinkies is a little bit easier. The reason I grabbed the saddle is because pinkies you can mount them. You know, kind of like what we did with the shade, and you can ride them around. And so we could just ride them into the pen. Chupacabras are a little bit more just wild and crazy. Alright. There we go. So we got ourselves 2 chupacabras now. And I'm just going to tell these guys to sit. And you can sit. Okay. And I do want to get one more. And I'm going to go see if I can maybe catch one with the pinky or with the chupacabra treats that we've got. And I'll explain why that is here in just a moment. I've got 2 beasts. It wouldn't hurt me to make a couple more because there's a lot of different creatures that we can tame with beast treats. Or a few. I won't say a lot, but a few animals that we can tame with beast treats. Okay, there's our chupacabra. Let's go ahead. He loves us. Okay, just took one. That's awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do, chupacabras, if you haven't noticed, they are super fast. I'm going to say follow. I'm going to set him, well, before we do all that, I'm going to take, I didn't bring it with me. Whoops. Okay. Let me grab him, and you can come with me, guy. Chupacabras are actually really, really nice as pets because they do quite a bit of damage. Not quite as much as the shade, but they also don't get stuck like the shade does. You know, when we were in the roguelike dungeon, the shade and the Aegises both got stuck a lot going through that dungeon because the Aegis tend to float upwards and they get stuck on stairs and stuff. And the shade, he's just big. He's like a 2x2. So, I mean, he can't go through doors and stuff like that, whereas the chupacabra can because it's only 1 block tall. And what I want to do is I want to grab our soulstone because by default, your mounts and stuff can't really die. If they die, then they have a cooldown period and they can be resummoned or they'll respawn back in. Now, our pets, like this guy, if we just leave him as he is and he loses his 20 health, he's done. He's gone for, that's it. But what we can do is we can use our soulstone and we can just right-click him. Your chupacabra has been bound. You will now find it in your pet manager. And then we can open up our pets and we can say, there's our chupacabra. Yay. So that's our chupacabra. And I'm just going to tell him to sit for just a minute. And we're going to name him. And I think we're going to name our chupacabra Mo. That's, of course, a reference to Mo and Marley. If you ever played the first Borderlands. So we're going to go ahead and call him Mo. So now let's go ahead and dismiss our chupacabra. And let's summon him in. And there we go. You can see he keeps his name. And we're going to set him to follow and assist. And yeah, that's good. And I don't have any more golden pet armor on me. Even though I do think it is craftable. Yeah, it should be craftable in this pack. But I'm not worried about it. I'm going to give him golden pet armor. And I'm going to go ahead and give him a chest as well. And that way, our Mo can follow us into battle and has, you know, some decent defense. Now, for right now, since we're not really doing any battle, I'm going to go ahead and put him away. And the reason being, I believe he will still eat our animals. If we just let him follow us around, he will eat them. Because he'll try to eat animals in order to breed with the other chupacabra. Unless, well, actually all the time. I think pinkies won't, when you're riding on them, they won't just try to eat everything in sight. But as soon as you dismount off of them, they will try to eat everything in sight. So, but yeah, so the soul stone, as you can see, once we tame something, we can capture it and we basically have a pet. And that way, if it does die, it doesn't die for good. It will come back, which is, of course, kind of important, kind of useful, so that it doesn't infinitely die. Whereas the chupacabras outside, if they die, they're dead for good. But I will say the chupacabras that you tame, and you soulstone, they should be breedable. Unless things have changed, they should be breedable, so you can still drop them on the ground and breed them with other chupacabras and stuff. Now, the babies that they have, unless things have changed, they will be aggressive whenever they're born. So if you do want to tame them, you will have to use the treats in order to tame them. So like with the pinkies, I'm planning on having a few breeding pairs that are tamed, and then the babies basically just get sent to another cage, and then they get slaughtered there, where they're kind of separate from the breeding sets. So, and actually, I think with that, I'm probably going to wrap up this episode here, because I know it's getting close to wrapping up point, but we will continue on next episode. We're going to spend a couple... Whoops. We're going to spend a couple episodes just around the base sort of thing. We're going to start building a greenhouse. That might be next episode's project. But we'll see. Or we might continue working with some animal stuff. I am going to start getting the animal pens built because I have an idea in my head for how we're going to set these up. Because I want our carnivorous animals kind of together. And that way we can just pick up our cows and our sheep and dump them in the pens. They'll get consumed and then the babies will get made. And the babies will be sent off to kind of a private baby killing or, well, baby growing space for them to become adults and then get killed. It's kind of what I have in mind, but with the chupacabras it might be a little bit more tricky. I'm gonna have to do some planning and testing between episodes, but that's no biggie. But Pinky's is actually should be pretty easy, I think. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. I will also probably do a bit more exploration and try to look for more mending books because we still need more of those. Basically, as many of those as we can get is always good, but we shall see. So, anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.